Welcome back to GFXRhino. Today I will be showing you how to make a Roblox GFX commission sheet. Commission sheets are super important for getting Roblox GFX clients because they convey your pricing, your professionality, quality of work, contact information, even like your terms and conditions as well. Really anything you want, all in one simple image. Before we start though, I just want to say the commission sheet we're going to be making today is in the pack of 10 completely free Roblox GFX commission sheet templates available at GFXRhino.com. I'll link it in the description below. If you are going to pick this up, please make sure to just donate as well, or even just like 10 Robux helps a lot. And you might be asking, well, why would I bother watching this video if I can just go get the commission sheet from the, from the pack? And to that I say, in this video I will be giving you information that isn't available with the pack. I'll be talking a bit about what you should include, the kind of do's and don'ts and tips and tricks for having a good commission sheet that aren't available in the templates. And also the templates as well as this video are kind of just a starting point. You're really meant to customize it and make it your own commission sheet, because using a template exactly how it is, in my opinion, is just a bit like it shows that you're not a very good artist if you can't even go out of your way to create your own commission sheet. They're just meant to be kind of starting points that you can customize them. Even if you just customize a little bit of it, move things around a little bit, you're meant to customize them and make them your own. So I thought, hey, I might as well go ahead and make a video showing you how to exactly do that. So let's just dive right into the video. I will be using Photopea right here, and if you don't know what Photopea is, it's pretty much the free alternative of Photoshop. It's got pretty much the exact same layout, the same sort of tools. It's missing a few things, but it's not missing anything that we'll need today. You can of course use Photoshop and still follow along the tutorial pretty much just as well, in fact probably better. But go ahead and visit photopea.com. To start off, we're going to click new project right here, and that'll open this new little panel here. And in here for width, you want to make sure it is 1920 by 1080, and then height should be 1080. That is kind of the baseline for a commission sheet, but you can make commission sheets like this where they're kind of vertical, they're tall, and your commission sheets can really be whatever size you want. That's the best thing about them, they can be whatever size, but I suggest just starting off with 1920 by 1080, and I will show you how to change the size of it later on inside of your project. If you do need to change the size, you can do that. So just go ahead and click create, and that'll open up a brand new project. Now we need a background, so I'm just going to add a new layer, and I'm going to delete this background right here. So this is our layers panel. If you're new to Photoshop or Photopea, it's essentially layered like a burger, right? So if I add this new layer, this layer is over top of that layer, obviously, so it'll display on here over top of it, but obviously the layer has nothing. So we need to make a background first. So it's to just use the shape tool down here, the rectangle tool, and you're just going to make a rectangle just like that. That'll fill it in. And then the reason I say to use that is because you can anytime come back, select the shape tool, and you can change the color of it whenever you like. So I'm just going to go and change the fill, making sure I have the shape tool selected and my layer selected, and then I'm going to change it to a bit of a gray. You don't want to do right out full out black, because I don't know, it's just too dark, but even just like something very near black like that, like something very dark is very nice. But that's a bit plain of a background, so we're going to need something to put over top of it. Now there's two things you can put over top of it here. The first thing is just an overlay from Google. So usually you want to find one that's like this, where it's kind of a blur of different colors. There's not too much going on. Like textures like this would probably be too distracting and stuff, but something simple like this, or this one's probably pretty good, where you can see it kind of blurs blurs in all these different colors. So just choose a simple one like that. I'm just going to find one real quick. You also want to make sure that in the corner it has a pretty high resolution, so 1280 by 720 will be fine, but I don't actually want to use that one. And you can see this one here looks pretty nice, but it's only 320 by 180, so it's a bit too small. After you've found one, you can right click on it and then click copy image, go into your Photopea project, and then Control V to paste it in. You might need to click allow to let it paste it in, and then you can click Alt Control T to go into free transform. Okay, future me here, I just want to quickly say, by the way, you can tick this little transform thing up at the top, which will let you be able to transform without needing to click Alt Control T, and then you can size it up to whatever you like. I'm going to do something like this right here. By the way, if you don't want to copy it over, you can right click and then just save the image, and then when you download it, you can just drag the image into your project and it'll automatically import. Now with your overlay in here, you want to change this little blend type. I don't actually know what this is called, but you can click it and you can change it to screen, and it'll kind of overlay the backgrounds. If it has like a white background, you want to do overlay instead, but obviously this one has a black background, so we're going to do screen. We're going to delete this little bit of drawing here, and there we go, we have a bit of a background, but I don't really like it. It's probably just because the overlay is kind of bad, but in my opinion, I don't really like to put these sort of overlays in the back. They are pretty cool, but what I I actually prefer to do is go into my portfolio. If I just quickly find something in my portfolio, and if you drag one of your GFXs from your portfolio into your project here, you can then go ahead and under opacity, you can turn it down so then it's just very slightly visible. Make sure it is above your background. Turn it down to anywhere from like 10% to 15%, and then you might want to also blur it because it's a bit too distracting if it's full, you know, resolution, full visible like this. So you want to go up to filter, blur, and then I've been using this blur for years now and I still don't know how to pronounce it. So you can use that blur and then just increase it to a certain amount. Don't do it too much that it's just unrecognizable, and don't do it too little that it's, you know, not blurry enough that it's still too distracting. I'm just going to go with 10. That should be pretty good, just like that. And you can always come back and you'll see it'll add a smart filter. You can always double click on it, I think. Yep, just like that. And you can always come back and change it if you'd like. Now that we've gone ahead and made a background, we need to go ahead and import our projects in. So you can just go ahead and drag in whatever projects you want to add in, and then you can size them up to whatever size you want. So just go ahead and get all of your projects into the project. All of your graphics into the project, I mean. So, and now that you've gone ahead and imported all of your projects just like this, by the way, just remembering you can click Alt Control T to size it up, free transform it, or if you're in Photoshop, you just click Control T. Now you can go ahead and line them all up. Now a big bit of advice here is please make sure everything is aligned. Like I've seen so many commission sheets where, for example, if I just move these out the way, they'll have a thumbnail, they'll have like a thumbnail here, and then they'll have a thumbnail here, and it'll be just like this where they're completely different sizes. By the way, you can hold down Alt while scrolling to zoom in. They'll just be the complete wrong sizes. It'll just be all weird. So it'll be the wrong size, it'll be like disaligned, you know what I mean? It'll just be out of place and it just won't look good. So you really need to make sure everything is aligned well. Another bit of advice too is don't have too many, or at least don't make them too small. Like if you're gonna have a bunch of them, at least make your, like, don't have a small one, don't have like something like this where you then have them all lined up next to each other like this, where there's just so many and they're so small. Because really what you need is you want to be able to have it so it can be like this small on a Discord message, or like this big on like a Twitter post or something like that, where you want to be able to catch the people's attention easily. If you have a bunch of small little, if I like select all of these too, it would look something like this. If you had a bunch of really small ones, it just won't catch people's eyes as well, I think. So that's really something you got to remember too, is try to make sure it catches people's attention and it's very appealing. That's a big bit of advice. Make sure it is, I guess, attractive. It catches people's attention. So what you want to do now is you just want to go ahead and line them all up. I'm pretty sure in Photoshop, it'll automatically kind of snap into place. They'll kind of, you know, lock into place together. To make sure they're all aligned, you can go up to View, Show, and then you can show grids right here, and you'll see that it shows a grid where if I go ahead and drag it, it'll just lock onto the grid. Anyway, now you need to go ahead and line them all up. Once again, we have the commission sheet templates pack if you do want to get some inspiration on, you know, where to line them up and stuff, where to lay them out, what layout you should choose. You can also just search up Roblox GFX commission sheets on Google and look at other people's and take inspiration. Remember not to just take it like that. Take inspiration, change it up at least a little bit. So go ahead and do that, lay it out however you'd like. There you go, I've done it. So I've actually left a bit of room above here for the pricing and above here for the pricing of the icons. And why don't we move on to that for the next step. So now we need to do our pricing. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and grab the text tool right here, and you want to just click up the top right here to make a little bit of text. You can type in whatever you want. I like to just type in thumb, which is obviously short for thumbnails, just because icons, if you did icon, you can see it's almost the same length. It's not really the same length, but if I were to do thumbnails, it's much longer than icon. Unless you did like icon slash ads, or if you did game icons, then they're about the same size. But in my opinion, it's better off to just do thumb, just like that, all caps, and then a colon, just like that. Then you can go ahead and size it up. And you also want to choose a good font. So what you want to do is you want to click this little big T and little t thing at the side right here, and then this will bring up this little character menu where you can then change the font. That one looks pretty good. Black Hand Sans. You can use whatever font you like. I do suggest least one that is quite, you know, bold and good to like easy to read. I know I've seen a lot of like really like those aesthetic ones that have like these really like just hard to read fonts. Like it'll be something like this, where I mean that's not terrible, but it is still kind of hard to read. And you got to remember once again that people are going to be seeing it about this size, even maybe a little bit bigger, maybe even a little bit smaller. They'll be seeing it on Discord, on Twitter, and from outside of it, it's a bit hard to read. And I know it's trying to be all aesthetic, but I do feel like just keep it kind of you know, readable and understandable. So just choose whatever font you like. What you can go ahead and do now is hold down Alt, and then you can drag on your text layer. You can also hold down Shift so it only moves horizontally. Once you've duplicated it, you can double click on it to edit the text, and then just name it and then just write whatever your prices are. So for thumbnails, I'm going to say 4.5k Robux, right? Just like that. You can write 4.k Robux, but I prefer to put the Robux icon, which we'll do in just a second. I'm going to do the same thing where I hold down Alt and Shift and drag it, and then this will be my thumbnail price in USD. So if you want to charge PayPal, you don't have to do this part. You can just have the Robux payments, $10. Actually, no, I'm going to go $18 because that's about 4.5k. It might even be 20, something like that. And I'm going to click on this layer, hold down Shift to horizontally move it, shift click on the other one, shift click on the other one, and then I'm going to move them both along once again, holding down Shift. Now we need a Robux and a PayPal icon. So just go on Google and find both of those. You can once again just right click on them, click copy, and then you can Control V, paste them in. So you'll see now that I have pasted the icon in. Now make sure they're kind of similar size, and then you want to shift click and then shrink them both down. Then you can go ahead and find what the right size is. So about there is pretty good. And now I'm going to deselect them both and move the PayPal icon along. Kind of make sure it's sort of in line with the prices, so something like that. But you will see now that the gray Robux icon blends in way too much with the background. So what we're going to do is we're going to double click on this icon and then check this little color overlay thing, and then you'll see that color overlays it with black. You just want to click on the color overlay layer style right here, click on this black right here and change it to white, just like that. So now you can see it a little bit better. Now I'm going to go ahead and move that along, select both of these and make sure they are kind of up against the text, just like that. Make sure there is a gap, otherwise it might look a bit strange. I mean, there doesn't have to be too much of a gap, so something like that is completely fine. That looks good. But what I like to do sometimes is with my commission sheets, with the actual prices themselves, I like to double click on them to give them a layer style, and then give them an outer glow and a color overlay. Now for the outer glow, you want to change the color right here to like a nice green, and then I'm going to increase the size and then decrease the opacity right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and in color overlay, actually back in outer glow, I'm going to copy the hex code right here, Control C, go into color overlay, and then for the color overlay, I'm going to paste that code, and you'll see that we now have some nice glowing green text, which does look pretty nice. This probably isn't the best font, but I'll change it up later. What you can do now is you can right click on your text with the layer styles. You can go down to layer style and then copy, then you can go over to your other bit of text, and then you want to go layer style paste. So you can paste that right over just like that. And now I'm going to go ahead and select all of the different icons and stuff we just made here, and I'm going to drag it so it is centered in the middle, so that looks like it is about the middle. Now I'm going to go ahead and click Control J to duplicate it, and then hold down Shift and then drag it downwards just like that. And obviously I'm going to change this to icon and then the colon, and we're going to go ahead and change up the prices to match the icon prices, and once again select them all by holding down Shift and then center it up. Now that looks pretty good. You could be done there. You might also just want to go onto each of your projects, double click on them and add a drop shadow, which you can then make the angle to 90 degrees so it's going down below it, increase the size here, so kind of the blur of it, and then mess around with the opacity here to give it a nice little drop shadow, and mess around with the distance too, which once again, right click, layer style, copy, then you can select all of your other projects, right click, layer style, and then paste, and now they all have this nice little drop shadow. It's just a nice little extra effect to add. But another thing you will probably want to add is your name or your terms or your contact information, really anything. So to give it a bit more room to add those bits of information, you want to go up to image, canvas size right here, and then you can see the canvas size, which you can change up the height. So I want to go with 1300 right here. Click OK. So 1920 by 1300, and then I'm going to go ahead and select my background and its overlay, size it up. I'm going to select the whole thing, and then in my layers I'm going to hold down Control and deselect my background and the overlay. Then I'm just going to shift and drag it down vertically, so now we have a bit of room for a title at the top. And lastly, we're just going to go ahead and type in whatever you want. I'm just going to type in my commission sheet, just like that. Scale it up more and center it up, and there we go. We can pretty much be done there. You might want to also click on the text thing here, go up to warp, and then for style we want to select arc, and then you can make it kind of arc just like that, which is pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and move it back down. You can obviously make it a bit taller and add your terms at the bottom or your contact information. You can honestly probably just make this title here a bit smaller like this, and then go ahead and add your Discord, like a Discord logo and your Discord username, and then Twitter logo and your Twitter username, and just really add whatever else you like. But that is kind of the baseline, that is kind of the starting point for a commission sheet. That's all the sort of things you can add, and that's all the advice I can provide, is make sure everything is aligned, make sure everything is big and appealing, because once again, people are going to probably see it like this when scrolling on Twitter. They're going to see it pretty small, or they're going to see it when scrolling on Discord or something like that. They're going to see it pretty small, so it needs to be something that catches their attention very quickly. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I have 2 hours before I have to go to sleep, and I have to edit and upload this video for tomorrow, but we're staying consistent, a video every single day of this week, so make sure to like and subscribe, join the Discord server, check out GFXRhino.com for completely free Roblox GFX assets, and of course donate, even just 10 Robux if you can, pretty please. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye.